NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian has been covering this trial, and he joins me now. So this is a huge sum. Ken, break down the takeaway here and what it means.
It's a stunning verdict, Kristen. It drew audible gasps in the courtroom, and it exceeded even what the plaintiffs were asking for and what their expert witness said their damages were. So the jury awarded each woman a different figure in compensation for defamation. Ruby Freeman was awarded $16.2 roughly million. Her daughter Shay Moss was awarded $16.9 million. Then the jury awarded each of them $20 million for intentional infliction of emotional distress, and then a total of $75 million for punitive damage, which is designed to punish Mr. Giuliani for the harm that he caused. So I was expecting a big number, but this exceeds probably what anyone thought was possible. Now, whether Rudy Giuliani is able to pay anything close to this, it remains to be seen. And of course, he likely will appeal this number. So we may be far away from an actual compensation in this case, but this sends a powerful message. This is a jury inflicting a punishment, really for the first time in a courtroom, for lies about the election in furtherance of Donald Trump trying to stay in power. And what was so remarkable about this case is that the statements at issue were never in question. The judge ruled that they were lies, that they were defamation, and Mr. Giuliani acknowledged in court papers that they were. And so this 4-day trial was entirely about how much money he should pay these women for the harm that he caused. And there was some gripping and harrowing testimony from each of the women about the horrible racist threats and attacks they received. Their lives were really turned upside down when Mr. Giuliani accused them baselessly of election fraud. They had to leave their homes, they had to leave their jobs. Their lives have never been the same, and now they have been awarded a giant sum of money in compensation.
Yeah, all totaling $148 million. Ken, I want to talk to you about the contours of this trial, but before we do, I just want, for our audience sake, to understand if Rudy Giuliani cannot pay that sum, and presumably it would be a challenge, given that we know all of the reporting around his challenges just to pay his legal bills. What happens in that case? How do these women, in fact, get compensation when he might not have that much money to pay?
Right. Well, assuming that this is upheld on appeal and eventually a judgment is entered against Mr. Giuliani for whatever sum of money it ends up being, that judgment would hang over him. Now, as you said, he is in some financial difficulty right now. He's being sued by his former lawyer for more than $1 million in legal fees that the lawyer says he is owed. He reportedly has put his New York apartment on the market for $6 million, and his law licenses have been suspended, so he really has no way to earn money, at least through the legal profession right now. So in many situations like this, the person ends up filing for bankruptcy, and their assets are sold off, and the people who hold the judgment, in this case Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, end up just trying to get pennies on the dollar in a situation like that. So, you know, it's unfortunately for them, they may not see very much money out of this, but what a powerful message this sent, and you know, broadcasting to the world that the things he said about them were lies, and that they were such egregious lies that a jury awarded them $148 million.
And Ken, of course, we first met Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss at the January 6th trials, and as you say, they were the center of really gripping testimony in this case. Can you give us a few of those moments throughout the trial that really stood out to you? I know that they spoke very emotionally about the fear that they had and what they suffered because of the threats that they were getting against their lives.
Yeah, that's right, Kristen. And just to remind viewers, the way that Mr. Giuliani defamed these women was he pointed to a video when they were working as poll workers, and he claimed that they were passing USB drives among one another. He said, like, vials of cocaine or heroin. He claimed that they were stuffing ballots into suitcases. It was all made up. In fact, the supposed USB drive was a ginger mint. But as soon as he said that, and then the Trump campaign began amplifying it, and Donald Trump amplified it, they began to get racist, vile hateful messages on their phone. And Shay Moss in particular talked about how she had a 14-year-old son at the time who was using that phone and seeing some of these messages, and it really affected him. He ended up failing his classes. Both women had to leave their homes for a time because of the physical threats to their safety. Shay Moss talked about going to try to apply for a job at a Chick-fil-A and then being asked by the manager about this photo on the internet with her picture and the word fraud embossed on it, and could she explain that?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.